Yeah, live, okay. It is 4:04 p.m. I would like to call a meeting of the Simon Fairfield Public Library Trustees to order on August 26th, right?
27th.
Totally lost track of the days.
27th.
August 27th at 4:05 p.m. We have a quorum. Ellie sent out the minutes from our July meeting. Hopefully everyone has had a chance to read through those. Do we have any clarifications or corrections? Questions?
Hello?
Hello?
No,
Are we good?
good.
Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes from our July meeting as written.
So moved.
Second?
Seconded, this is Dawn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstained? All right. Moving on. For the financial report.
So Jean and I did reconcile our accounts officially. So now we have the starting balances for our special accounts. So I included an account summary in the handout, which shows that our special accounts I'm sorry, our opening balances for our special accounts was $110,868.72. Since then, we've actually taken in $1,288.58 in donations to the building account, and $2 in fines, and $1,037.75 in regular donations. 1,000 of that came from Spooner,
Yeah.
the son of Dr. Raymond Spooner. He visited the library last month, and we gave him a picture of his dad. He was happy with that. We've spent so far $31,333.47 of our municipal appropriations, which is where we expect to be. I haven't included how that compares to an overall budget appropriation, because technically we don't have one yet. We're still deficit spending until September town meeting. So only other thing to note is that I'm not allowed to say there's new money. I'm not allowed to say that Jean found money. But for the first time, Jean and I are reconciling money that has been on the town books since one of the previous architectural design projects was voted on at town meeting long ago. I don't know if it was money that was set aside to pay Farley or Van Voorhis, but basically there's $3,615 left over that's just been there. And I confirmed with Jean that the scope of our fundraising, trying to get our building project going, I mean, it fits under that scope. So we can include that in our running total, that we're trying to get up to $400,000 if you so choose. If not, we can just continue to let it float there, and it would be a source of funding that would be available if a project came.
Well,
but like on the funding thermometer thing, this could go towards it.
Right.
Yeah, it should go to that, I would say. I would vote for that.
I was at the Capitol meeting the other day and the 3615 came up and it wasn't explained to me like that at all, that they had to look back and see how it was appropriated. Was it from free cash or was it through a grant or what? And I know that we're asking the town for 13,000 plus. So I was saying, well, can't we use that $3,615 as a partial payment for what we're requesting in Article 10 of the annual town meeting? And Jean said, I will look into it. Now, this was last Wednesday and you reconciled this past Tuesday or something, Monday or Tuesday?
Yesterday is whenever.
Or
we did-
Wednesday?
yeah.
Okay, so I don't know. I mean, she said, after a lot of back and forth and she was sort of hesitant about it. And I said, well, it's $3,615. And the reason why it wouldn't be going to us is because of or it wouldn't be asked for through capital, because it was capital that was considering all of this. And it might go to somebody else completely. It's just, I wasn't under the impression that it was ours to keep and that it would have to take a town meeting vote to use it for something, because it was awarded through a town meeting vote initially. I think she was going back to research all of that.
Yeah, what she told me is that it was awarded at a town meeting vote for, and like that's like the official name of the account is Lib Renovation Design.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it could be used for anything besides renovation design.
Well, what I was trying to say was I wanted it for the library and not for the fire station or something like that.
Well,
I wanted it to go back to the library.
it definitely is at this point, because I signed off on it. She gave me it, like whenever she gives me the ending balances for all of our special accounts,
Yeah.
that was there. That's one of them now.
Okay, well, the Capitol hasn't met again, so I don't have any follow-up on what I was asking about. So
Maybe I won't include it in any funding thermometers or anything until until we're sure
Yeah.
everything is,
yeah.
It's good that it's been identified.
Yeah, I had no
We know
clue.
that it's there.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. So on the financial report, you said the balances were more than this $110,868.72.
I must be
Yeah,
looking.
that was our opening balances.
Right.
So now, well, no, that's not right. Special accounts.
Oh, I see.
At the bottom
here.
of the,
It's at the bottom.
but it doesn't, yeah. So I don't know.
See the equities, including. Oh, you know what? That equity line, the 110,868.72. That's what I input as already existing
Okay.
as of June 30th, and that lib renovation design line item is included in that 3,615, because that I inputted is pre-existing money, so
Okay.
that's why, the special accounts started at
109.
well, 109,929 is what they are at right now, because that's the total of everything under it, the grants, revolving, Carrick, Moan.
Okay.
Okay. And what's that figure? 109?
109. Am I looking at the right sheet? It says 109,292.
109,29249.
Yeah,
29249. Okay, and what's that? Everything except for something or other.
Yeah, so like our equity and our special accounts as of July 1st, what we started with was 107,253.72.
That was July 1st.
Yes, because that's what you see at the very bottom of the sheet is the 10,868.72.
yeah,
Subtract what's in the Lib renovation design from that, because that account didn't exist as far as we were concerned until July 1st.
oh, okay, I see it.
I know.
It's up.
Really, it's
under
weird because
total
like it's almost like
appropriations.
you see under the town appropriations, in terms
Oh,
of the way
yeah.
the town treats the money, that Lib renovation design line item needs to be there with personnel and operations, because it's general fund money. It's money that's there, but allocated.
Okay.
Whereas, for our purposes, it would make more sense if it was up under special accounts,
Right,
because the Lib renovation design is tracked in our opening equity, our opening balances.
So it might have to take a town meeting vote to switch it over to there.
Well, I don't think it can switch over to there. It's like a different kind of thing, because like the special accounts are money that didn't originate with the town. It didn't originate from any
Right.
taxes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And everything that does originate from taxes has to stay with that. So instead of it being one of our special accounts, it's a town appropriation account that's different from our personnel allocation and our operational allocation, because it's a capital account that'll carry forward every cycle, which gives us another thing to keep track of.
mm-hmm, yeah. They can't
Okay.
take it away, can they?
Yeah, they can.
No.
They were trying, or they were talking about not taking it away, but they were talking about it at Capital, and Capital is always looking for dough. So look at the Capital meeting and
I think what you would have to have is you'd have to have one of those town meeting votes where they vote to close out an account and reabsorb that money back. Because we've seen that with like money that was left over from underruns with the school construction and other
Mhm.
things. There's a water sewer one, I
Right.
think, is like, we've got
Yeah.
this money that was left over from our project from way back when. Can we just close this account and then apply this money somewhere else? And, something like that would have to happen at town meeting for anything to happen to this money, except us spending it on an architect.
Okay.
Yeah, well, what how it was explained at Capital is if they want to close the project, then they take that fund and it goes just into the general fund. If they don't close the project, then it remains there until you decide what you want to do with it. Whether it's for the post office or building or for the library or what. So it's they don't close them out, because then the money goes to the general fund. It doesn't go to the library. It just goes right back into the general fund if you close it out.
Okay.
So it's and it isn't closed right now. So
Nope, it's
Right.
open. The library construction project is open.
Yes, all right. And so then leave it where
As
it
it
is, right?
should
Leave it
be
alone.
until it's done.
Yep.
yeah, so don't encourage them to close it out. 'Cause
No.
then we won't ever see that money again.
But I think it would take a town meeting vote to close it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, town meeting can still do something with it if it is not closed out. One of the
Mhm.
things is like portable radios. There is $978.80 left there, and the project is closed. So that $978 goes back to the general fund.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, we're certainly not done with our building project, so. Like Justin says, it's something that we just need to be aware of and keep track of it.
Yeah.
That's good that that came out. All right. Are we good with this? Can we move on? On to the director's report?
Circulation is increasing. You can see, but it's still, if I mean, you can track what it circulation's going up, but it's not at last year's levels. But if you look at it since May, when we started to reopen, it doubled from May numbers in
Yes.
June, and in July's numbers are double what June's were, but they're still about half of what we would normally have under normal circumstances. But everything's kind of ticking back up. Digital loans are still a lot higher than normal. But the virtual programming has been a bit of a waste of time.
Mhm.
And I think that screen fatigue is a big part of that. We've actually heard from parents who, started out doing dead story times, and then they said, our kids just don't want
Right.
to spend any more time on the computer
Absolutely.
than they already are.
Yeah.
And far be it from, I personally, I'm not big on adding to the screen burden. But there's also just a lot to do online, because I mean, every institution, every national agency, museums, there's hundreds of other institutions right now that are making content that used to be paid free, or they're making more content. And local libraries are competing with extremely professional things, like Curiosity Stream and
Absolutely. That's it.
NASA
Right.
Channel and stuff like that. So I mean, there's nothing we're going to be able to put out that's going to compare that it's going to make a ripple in the pond of the online resources that are already available. What the feedback we're getting is just keep trying to get people reading material, try to get them books,
Yep.
and whatnot. That said, I am planning a Red Sox virtual presentation, QA and trivia event on the anniversary of the Red Sox Yankees Douglas Field game. Because I thought that would be neat. It's not
Yeah.
often I get cold calls from people offering to do library program that I take seriously. But this one sounds exciting. It's going to be a Saturday lunchtime program right after our sci-fi book club. And hopefully that, if that doesn't get Douglas people to attend a program online, I don't think anything will.
Right.
Well, it's good to know that, because in the last few months, I'm speaking kind of from the cultural council perspective, it's kind of like, well, the money is there right now. We want to try to spend it, but we're not sure how this is going to work. And theoretically, it sounds like, oh, that's great. So someone will put together a video of exactly what he or she does live, except you can go online anytime you want and watch it. And it's just not the same as a live performance. It just isn't.
Right.
So that's good to know for the future. One thing that I'm hoping for is that the Cultural Council will be given the okay to carry forward any funds, unspent funds that we have this year, so we can use it for next year. We have no idea what the budget's going to be like. So from now on, what we're doing is we're going to meet as a council virtually to decide on these, other proposals that grantees might have.
Yeah,
So,
between now and cultural council grants, I want to like sit down with the state guidelines for what they're intended for and really try to kind of stretch um, our applications in new creative ways instead of
mhm,
just continuing to apply for one-off performances.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. That'll be good. We'll see. We can only see what happens. Hopefully this gets sane again sometime.
I don't have much to report when it comes to reopening because we kind of reopened early
Right.
and haven't changed procedures much because they've been working. I did just, reach around to surrounding libraries. Upton's trustees aren't considering reopening before September 15th.
Hmm.
Sutton's operating similar to us. They all reopened it around the same time, but they had to hire an extra staff person as a greeter. Um, we're lucky in our setup with where the circulation desk
Yeah.
is and where the front door is.
Yeah.
We can kind of catch everybody who comes in without having to have a greeter or anything like that.
Right.
Hopedale is open by appointment only. Milford and Webster, the bigger libraries around us, are both are both open. Milford was really really aggressive with their reopening. So like they're offering computer use, but they have some really strict sanitation protocols in place. They bought some kind of machine that you like pump water into it and it ionizes it, and you can use that as like a virus deactivating fog bomb.
What?
I don't know. I've never heard of
What?
anything like it. But they're open. Webster's open. Webster's the only library I've seen that's actually discontinued their curbside service and their other services that they're selecting. Like it's like we're open, we're not doing curbside anymore.
Okay.
Whitensville's open by appointment only, but they're going to start taking walk-ins on Monday.
Mhm.
Uxbridge is tentatively planning to open September 8th. Millville is doing things kind of similar to us, just with, they're open, but limiting time in, no public access computers, and they're offering curbside service. Blackstone is still closed, but you can register for curbside. Minden is still closed. Grafton is still closed. And Oxford is offering contactless lobby pickup. So like you can come into the lobby and get books, and they basically have them waiting for you in bags, which is how a lot of libraries are doing curbside. Like it's not. I don't know if we can just get away with it because we're smaller, but I mean we're not that much smaller. But I mean a lot of libraries just seem to be really overthinking this
Yeah.
curbside pickup stuff. It's like, all right, you have to call, you have to schedule a window, you can show up during that window and your books will be outside in a sealed bag and you can take them. If you don't come by the end of your window, they'll bring them back in.
That sounds like an awful lot of work.
It is an awful lot of work.
Wow.
Then again, I don't know, maybe
I think you guys are doing a great job. I think you
it's
really.
working, it's not
Yeah, it's working.
complicated what we're doing. We're
And if
not
you
making
look,
it
well, look at the
complicated.
circulation numbers, how they've gone up since you started reopening a little bit. And even without that, the digital loans are up. So I think you're doing a good job. I think it's working.
And that's all I've got for
Okay.
director's report.
All right. Excellent. Thank you, Justin.
Thank
Looking
you.
at old business. Let's look at building projects. We haven't looked at that in at least a month. And the building subcommittee, how are we doing?
Not good. I mean, this
What are
really
you
hasn't.
talking about? You got $3,600 new dollars.
Yes, I'll summarize that. We have 3,615, and then, I don't know, maybe someone gave $5. I maybe through Amazon,
500 actually.
50
500.
cents.
This
Um,
is, I
yeah,
guess,
it's still very much in our hearts, but we haven't actively promoted or investigated or fundraised for it.
It's
That's my
just a crazy times.
right.
Crazy times. Going with the flow. Yeah.
I
So,
was hoping that by this point we would have a number from Pete DeCaro with the grow facility and the Resonate business, because he wanted to get his cash flow kind of solidified before you know, committing an amount.
yeah.
But then, you know, 2020 happened.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I know. Oh, man. Well,
So I kind of missed how that relates to the library building, the grow facility.
He wants to help with the project. He just doesn't know how much.
Oh, great. Sorry, I missed that. Yeah.
What's that guy's name?
Pete DeCaro.
Okay.
So I don't know if I want to open a can of worms, but the only thing that we could be doing in this time of kind of being reluctant to fundraise is to, if we wanted to figure out a little bit more succinctly exactly how much we needed. But I think that's a cost in and of itself, right? So I think
oh,
maybe
yeah.
not to do that.
Well, I think we had discussed this quite a bit in months past, and we had decided that we were going to set our goal on $400,000 to work
Right.
with, and then move forward from there, because we know we're going to need at least that much money to do anything. So is that where, that's kind of where I thought we had left it, rather than saying, let's go back and like
Yeah.
piecemeal, how much do we need for this? How much do we need for that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you are right, Danielle. And I was comfortable with that. I was just throwing it out there that because, it hasn't been a good time for fundraising, that, we could look at
Right.
doing some, plans or talking with architects, but I don't think that that's,
I don't think until things open up a little bit, I don't think anything's going to happen anyhow, even
uh-huh.
if we had it. I don't know.
So the
There,
400,000 was for us to raise, and the total budget was at just in 750,000. You were thinking that that's how much we would need? What's on your little flagpole or whatever it's called?
400,000 is what's on the flagpole.
Okay.
yeah.
For and this was just based on, you know, our initial talk with Bill and the other guy who was on the building.
Mike Fitzpatrick.
Yes, Mike Fitzpatrick. Because, you know, their philosophy was define the scope of your project, and don't define the scope of your project in terms of what you need versus what you can afford.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to also, I think, be salient of what we can afford. And they were looking at the plans that had been put out by basically marrying the quote that came from Charlie Van Voorhees that year we were applying for the Massachusetts Office on Disabilities grants,
Yeah.
and looking at what we wanted to do in terms of the scope of the drawings prepared for us by Aaron Sokrat. And, $400,000 was kind of just their
Right.
guesstimate, their gut on the spot guesstimate.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then the case that I pitched to Matt was, if the library has that much money, and there's a shortfall, say it ends up being 475, 500, 600, whatever. I mean, if the library trustees are already anteing up $400,000, is it reasonable to expect, the remainder to come from somewhere else, some other funding mechanism, without having to go to a town meeting article? And his response was reassuring. I mean, it's obviously not something one can 100% guarantee. But it's like, if we wait until we have $400,000 in the caddy, then we can pretty much
Mhm.
assure that we have the
Yes.
power behind the punch to see the project through,
Yep.
instead of saying, well, let's spend more money on plans and then see if we can get it funded later.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Yeah. How much have we spent on that? Over and over.
I think at this point around $70,000.
Easily, I think. Anyhow, I think that's good to keep, let's set that as our, we've set that as the goal, $400,000. And, as we get closer to that, then we can start really seriously looking at, okay, what can we afford? How do we want to, move forward? So again, it's something we just got to keep plugging at, I guess. I think the friends might have something to report on that when we get to them.
Mhm.
Um, all right. Moving on to another hot topic, electrical systems. And that is that separate from Article 10?
Nope, that is Article 10. It's all
Okay.
bundled up together now.
All right. It's all together.
The Article 10 on the town meeting. Does somebody else want to read this?
Okay, I'll read it.
Mhm.
To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate and/or transfer from available funds an amount not to exceed $13,000 for the purpose of making repairs to the library as follows. A, repointing brick above windows and up to the roof line where many concrete joints are failing or missing, causing moisture to enter the building. B, repairing deterioration on concrete steps before they become larger and become trip hazards. And C, correcting electrical wiring problems and installing receptacles to bring the library into compliance with building code, or take any other action relative thereto.
So we need somebody to read that at town meeting.
What is it's 10:30 in the morning? Is that
Mhm.
is that a Saturday?
Outside,
Yep, on a
Oh.
Saturday.
Outside.
the elementary field, yes.
Yeah.
School field.
If that's the 12th, yeah, I should be fine with that. I can, if I have a problem, maybe Kate can do it, or I'll say I'll do it.
Just remember, when you read the article, I'm not sure if they provide this with cheat sheet type stuff, but you don't say to see, you say, I move that we do this.
Mhm.
And you don't have to say the very end of the sentence or any other stuff.
Yep.
So that's the important thing. And they should be able to tell you more precisely as it gets closer to town meeting where the money's coming from, because those three sources, it will actually phrase where the money's coming from.
Mhm.
Could someone just confirm? I don't have anything about the town meeting for some reason. It's September 12th.
It's in what Justin sent. He sent a copy of the warrant. And if you look at the top of that, it'll tell you when and where.
Okay, thanks.
And
I
then it gives you all the.
thought I had all
pro-
my attachments, but that one's missing.
It is? Oh, oh.
Well, it's maybe not missing. It's just missing from what I opened.
So I think it's
Are we okay? Are we good?
I think so.
like 10:30, is it?
So Danielle's reading, and if Danielle's not reading, Kate, are you reading?
I didn't realize that was on a Saturday, so I may have to confirm that I'm actually going to be there.
All right. If I run into a problem, I'll let people know, but.
We'll
Yeah,
just say
I'm
that
sure
Danielle's
between
gonna
all of
read
us,
it.
someone can do it. I could do it too if I don't know 100% my schedule that day, but
Okay.
somebody will.
All right. Moving on. So, hot water heater.
I don't have anything to report.
Okay. Any other old business? Grants? Capital campaign?
Yeah, that was the $500 that the Petraglias gave
Mm-hmm.
to the Friends that has been, a check was drawn and given to Justin to put into the interest-bearing account.
Great.
So that was very nice of them.
I turned it over Tuesday.
And what happened to Mr. Spooner's donation? You wanted us to vote for something?
Well, it is currently in just regular donations. That's why regular donations has an income of $1,037.75. And he didn't give any restrictions for it at all. So I mean, in terms of how we use it, we can use it how we want to. So I thought the trustees might want to consider adding it to the reserve funds going towards the renovation.
If he has no directions as to how the money is to be spent, I think that makes sense. That's where we're focusing right now.
It won't move accounts. It's just, it would be like some of the rest of the money. It's like, this is what it's in the account, but this is what is spoken for.
Right. Okay. Other ideas? Everyone's so chatty today.
Yeah, before or in the future, when somebody gives money, before you turn it over to the town, and you do want to put it into something like I know this particular money can't go into the interest-bearing account, but check with the donor and then they to see, and I'm sure that they'd be, it's not a big deal to check with them, either email them or do you mind if this is put into this particular account, then it's done and they have volunteered to do it, then it can go into the interest-bearing account.
Mm-hmm. Good point, Ellie.
Good point.
Because I don't know if do we have a renovation or is it just a building account? Building, what is it called? I'll have to go back.
We have the building fund and we have the interest-bearing building fund.
So we do have an account called the building fund. Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
So, but we can't transfer the Spooner money to the building fund because it was just not.
No, it has to go in terms of where it gets put in terms of the municipal accounts. It has to go by like what's on the check, or like what's in the memo line, or like there has to be some kind of indicator there to get the treasurer to put it somewhere other than just regular donations.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's something that we can in the future ask the donors before we turn over the money to the town.
Mm-hmm. We'll remember that. Okay. Going to LRP updates.
I don't have anything to report on long range plan.
Okay. How about the Friends? What's happening with the Friends?
Well, the Friends are meeting on Saturday. We're getting ready for this auction that we're proposing. It would be nice, I know some of us have donated, Danielle, myself, and Nick have donated things to the auction. It would be, I just want to put a guilt thing on the rest of you. It would be nice if you could come up with something just to donate for, 100% participation by the trustees
Yes.
in the
That would
auction.
be
You
great.
can do
That-
anything you
that's
want. You
really
can,
good.
give a $1 million antique, or you can offer to clean somebody's icebox out or something, a refrigerator out.
Oh,
Something, so it shows your support of this auction.
That, you know what? I was working on that this week. I could have used somebody to do that.
I know. Every time I look at my
This is the
refrigerator,
time of
it's
year with
disgusting. It really is.
crazy in the
I would pay
refrigerator.
big bucks for that.
When I was picking up Cliff at his office this afternoon, and Paul Peterson was canvassing the building.
Yeah,
Mm.
good,
Trying to get
good,
some
good.
donations.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
been
then I
doing a
said-
lot of work. He's gotten a lot of donations. So
Yeah, so
I did. I had checked with Foxy Travel, but because of they only have one bus going right now, so they just don't know what's going on with their with the travel stuff and bus
Right.
trips and stuff like that. So they just can't really give anything right now, which is understandable. I did check with Gary Vecchione for Lovey's a
Mm.
donation from them, but he sort of
He had offered way back to support the library.
yeah. Well, he
Lovely
has
to them.
given some herbs to book sale, and
Mhm.
also the Christmas wreaths last year were supplied by him. And
Oh,
I was trying to get him to give something that was holiday related, wreaths or a tree or a poinsettia or something like that. But he's not sure where he's going to be at in December,
Yeah.
so he can't really commit
Yeah.
to anything.
wow. So we should get in touch with Donna Metz for that, Ellie.
Yes. And you have her address, or
Well, it was in the newsletter.
okay,
So I
yeah.
can find her.
Yeah, but Donna's drafting all the information for the software that we're using to have this online auction. And it's starts on, well, the deadline for putting your donations in is September 11th.
Okay.
soon.
So it's
Trying to think of something.
just make up your mind right now.
I
It's
know,
not
we're at the end
September
of
yet. We
August.
haven't
Can you
turned
plan?
over to the new month yet. So it's just a matter.
Jeez, Louise.
It's,
At the end of the month.
yeah. Well, we're not in September yet.
That's it. Cherish every day.
Right.
That's for sure.
So, we're, as I said, we're meeting on Saturday. Just,
I have a good feeling about this. I think this is going to take off. I really do.
yeah. And I think it will be a repeat yearly type of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
I have a friend, a very good friend, who is should be an award-winning knitter. I mean, she makes the most beautiful things. And they are supporters of, and I can't think of the name of it, the Bullens Foundation, which does cancer research. And
Yeah.
every year she knits an Afghan.
wow.
She does these amazing panels of pictures. It's like, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
And so every year that's what she plans on. She's going to knit that. She works on it over, for the whole year. So once it becomes an ongoing thing, I think people are going to look into, maybe it'll become a competition. Who can give a better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Betsy had mentioned a while back, I'll just tweak her again to knit or give some mittens or something like that. And she does a fantastic job
Yeah,
knitting.
in her knitting
So,
group, maybe there'd be somebody else she could ask.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that's great.
So that, and the auction is running from October 3rd to October 14th.
Okay.
And so get excited about that.
Yes, for sure.
So, and please donate.
Okay. Figure out something.
All right. Book sale. I know, Justin, you had done a brief thing about looking at it, but holding off on a book sale because of all of the.
I had a big blurb written up for the newsletter that I sent out yesterday, and while I was writing it up, I got an email from another library director, just part of an email chain of everyone kind of checking in with each other, and had mentioned that they had some similar plans, but their board of health didn't approve it.
Oh.
And so before I sent an email out and left a message to call, describing what we were wanting to put together, and making sure to make sure that they won't put the kibosh on it before we announce it,
Okay.
because it's something that technically has to go through them.
Yep.
Oh, also on the Friends, we got rejected by Walmart for the grant that we were asking for them to fund yoga, and we have never heard back from Unibank. So, and then Justin was noticing that the attendance it's just not great.
Okay.
And so I think you've thought that you'll discontinue, or this Thursday is the last one. Is that right, Justin?
Yep.
For yoga.
Yeah. Maybe when things open up again a little more. I understand I'm reluctant to participate in things. So
Yeah, I understand it too. So,
I don't know.
but I'm sure getting a lot done here.
I'm
No
trying
excuses for
I need some more pickles.
yeah, right.
That cantaloupe that you left at the library, it was bliss. It was really good.
Yeah, that's my problem, is that all my melons are coming forth right now.
I know, that's what
I
happened.
don't know what to do. Can you pickle melon? Maybe you can. That would be a combination.
I'll buy some more cantaloupe.
Maybe you can, but I don't think you should.
I'm not sure.
Yes, Nick.
You can pickle anything, so give it a try, but
Well, right now we're just eating. So
you can't really freeze it.
I did. I froze it some one year, the first year I had it. And then there was some sort of program at the library. It was growing your own or making your garden or something like that. And so I decided, oh, well, I'll make something for it. So I made melon soup. And it was, you could have it cold or warm. And I remember Ramona Williams saying she liked the warm stuff better than the cold stuff. And that I didn't go to the meeting, so I just dropped off this melon soup. But it wasn't something that you wanted to, advertise too much. It wasn't that great.
You know what? You could do a whole bunch of really fancy cocktails with them or something.
Oh, great idea. But I don't think it's going to last.
That's it, Ellie. I bet you can ferment them.
Oh, right.
There you go.
In the wine that I'm growing up here
Yes.
too.
Do some melon liquor.
Melon wine.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
there you
my
go.
daughter is, both daughters are thinking of starting a brewery here, and we've got these posts up to plant hops in the spring. So it's
Great.
really getting boozy here.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, that's something to think about. I bet if you Googled that.
I think
Oh,
that there's
Dana says
some like
careful with hops, they
fermentation
take over
recipes for like
everything.
making
Yeah,
the
that's
beans
true.
inside the melon.
They're invasive.
Yeah, I had put those on, grew those one fall as a ground cover.
And it took
And
over.
I couldn't get rid of them.
We'll see what happens. She put them in the hay field that we don't use or somebody else cuts and doesn't pay for, but
It's not melons, it's pumpkins. You can make your own mead inside of a pumpkin.
well, meat is sort of the dregs, aren't they?
But I mean, I wonder if you could like make some sort of thing with the similar thing with a melon, where like the fermentation actually happens inside the rind. This is not related to the library.
I know, shouldn't we adjourn first? That's interesting, Justin.
Yeah, call the Board of Health, find out from them.
Things. Just kind of inject it with something, right? And let it ferment.
Rum or vodka.
Sugar, well, it makes its own sugar.
Yeah, that's in the melon.
Yeah, so you need to put something in there that's going to help it to ferment.
Yeast.
I was going to say yeast. Melon beer.
Whoa.
There's all kinds of microbrews now. All right, let's move on to finish up our agenda here. So we've digressed from the book sale. Do we have any other old business? Oh, new business. I missed that.
Well, it's we already talked about a town meeting, so
yeah,
that is September something or other.
12th.
I just have that information. It's September 12th at 10:30 a.m. at the
elementary school.
And there's a rain date, and that's Sunday, the 13th, at the same time.
And Barbara, you're back in print. You're back in publication.
Yes.
Great.
Yay.
So anyone, feel free to send me. If I have it by next Wednesday, I can put it into the September 11 issue, including information about the auction alley.
Yes.
Yeah. No, we will. I'll put it on the. Okay.
That's great.
The friends are meeting on
Saturday. Excellent. All right. Other new business? Our next meeting is, I'm looking at the calendar over me in the computer room and it says April. April. Oh my God.
That was 17 years ago.
I know. Wow.
So yeah, I have the 22nd, but I'm not sure what time we're meeting.
Let's meet at 4.
Yeah, I don't see anything changing.
Okay.
All right.
Well, this worked well.
Yeah.
Very good.
I think this works a lot better than FCC.
Yeah, this was very good. Very easy to use. Well, I've done Zoom many times. I think we're all pretty good with Zoom now.
Everybody knows what it is.
So the only person missing is Nick. Is that true?
I think so.
Okay.
Is Dana here?
Yeah. Dana is our hops expert.
Ellie, you didn't send me Intrepid Readers information for next month.
Oh, that's because when it only turned out to be Betty and me talking about it, and then we got somehow disconnected after 15 minutes, so it was the end, and I haven't had the energy to. I was thinking of there were 2 books about Native Americans that I've recently read, was mentioning them, but I haven't. If nobody's participating in these things, it's why make the effort? I mean,
there was an interesting sign up at the post office that you had from like April. I'm like, oh, that looks good, and then I'm like, oh, it's like from 4 months ago. So that could probably be updated at the library. I mean,
Yeah.
You know
at
what?
the
Every
post
day the
office.
science fiction story gets stranger and stranger. I write a chapter about once a week. Each time I think it can't get any weirder,
Yeah.
something else happens.
One thing I'm trying with the sci-fi book club I do on Saturday mornings, speaking of sci-fi, is just opening it up to more than just Douglas. Like just like, like inviting passing the information along to other libraries. Because I mean there's no rule saying anybody can't come.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, the last two meetings and actually that we've had, except for this last one, it's been Betty and me and Maria Rochelo
Mhm.
and Lisa, who was in Douglas, her neighbor, so those are and they live in Virginia and Florida. So it's Virginia, Florida, and Betty and me that are participating in the book group, which is in our book group anyway. So I don't know. I'll send a notice out to everybody that we haven't figured out anything for next month, but and if nobody's going to participate, then have people been coming in for the books? Because this last time, the Grace of Wrath was, were there any?
Two people, I think 2 people that I know of came in for the
Yeah.
book.
Yeah. But I had seen the movie. I read the book, or I listened to the book. I watched the movie, which was interesting. They cut out all the sort of the every other chapter from the book. I read a book about the Dust Bowl of the 30s, and then there was 2 movies. One was about the Dust Bowl, which was really cool, and it was filmed in 1936 or something like that. And then there was one about the Mississippi River flooding, and that it was people's doing, and that was in 1939. And how they made levees, and how New Orleans was not ever going to get wrecked, and because of the levees being built. And
Oh yeah, that was a great book.
but I didn't read that book. I watched a movie called The River,
Oh.
and it was really and the music for it was incredible. But a lot of the flooding in 1939 that they were filming was like, I saw this in the news last year, or I saw it in the news 3 years ago. It's the same flooding
Mhm.
that was going on.
Well, it's happening right now.
Yeah, right.
Like every other year.
And it was the clearing the mountaintops, up in Minnesota or
Yeah.
whatever, that caused this flooding that happened to flood the Mississippi every year. So,
Yep.
but so anyway, I was prepared for the meeting. I learned an awful lot
There
about
you
the Dust
go.
Bowl, and
You
so
could
it was nice to sort of
You
cap
know,
that
you could
with
do
the Grapes of
a
Wrath.
video presentation, Ellie, and you could get paid big bucks for it.
That's
Okay.
right.
for doing that. Just ask Justin how much they get paid, right, Justin?
Oh,
Um,
for the Arts
how
Council.
much-
Yeah,
who
For
for
gets
video
paid?
presentations.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Oh.
I think we're good.
Mhm.
If we have no other new business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
5:03.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye. Bye-bye.
Aye.
Bye.
I
Bye.